Good morning. Welcome back to Cypress Hill Lavender Farm. It's about a 55-degree morning. A lot of humidity in the air. We've had a ton of rain this week. Got quite a few projects as usual that we're going to knock out today. I've come up into the north field first. The plan is we're going to pull back about 300 feet of weed barrier. It's 12 foot wide. We're going to fold it back over into this area over here. Then we're going to spread some lime and till this whole area where the weed barrier currently is. It's been down for a couple of months. We're going to pull it aside, run the tiller over it a couple of times. Then I've got my bedding plow. We're going to build up our beds, probably 3 rows under that for this year's lavender crop that's going to go right there. We're also going to head up front by the front gate, which is on the south end of the property. I have an area there that I've already tilled once to get it ready for some planting. We had just a ton of rain this last week. We're gonna re-till and then run the bed and plow that front area, and I'll show you when we get up there. We've got several different things we're gonna plant up there, and we're just gonna kind of get the fields ready to go from there. Keep an eye on us and look forward to it. Notice here this season we're going with the much heavier black 12-foot wide weed barrier. If you'll look over here to the existing lavender from last year's crop, we went with this white weed barrier after doing some research and listening to some people from other parts of the country, and it was a complete disaster. This weed barrier that you're looking at right here, this week, it celebrates its first birthday. This is 1 year old, sitting out here in the fields in the Texas sun, and it's just absolutely destroyed. It did no good, served no purpose. In fact, during the summer this last year, it acted as a greenhouse, and all of the bahia and weeds and grass that were underneath it grew so thick and so tall that it pulled the weed barrier out of the ground in several places, and it was constant maintenance to keep it down. We will be going back in this year with some black weed barrier. We'll cut slots to get around the plants, and we'll get it re-put down to hope do a better job. It seems that the black, like we have over here, is doing a much better job at weed control. If you pull back, you can kind of see it has really done a good job for us. So we're going to put that out under the rest of the lavender and get everything under black instead of white. Okay, here we are at the front, right by the south gate, and the plan is, if it's not too wet, and it may be, to get in here and till this up again, then come in with the bedding plow and put my beds in. The planting plan is to ring this small patch in marigolds first. Then we'll come in just inside that with some lavender, and then in the middle, between all of that, right out in the middle, we'll have our test bed of garlic. I've got about 250 garlic cloves to plant, And then we'll have some dead space, so we'll probably do some personal vegetables in there, looking for maybe some tomatoes, some zucchini, maybe some cucumbers, just things that we'll consume around here on the farm. The main purpose of this bed is to test the garlic and see how it does as we prep for a fall planting of some gourmet garlics that next year, 2021, will be part of our business model. I'll give it a pass and see what happens. I'm also paying attention to the natural drainage that's happening on this field, so that when I do my beds, my intent is to do them in such a way that the natural drainage will take advantage of that, so that we don't, in essence, dam up the water inside the garden. I know the lavender really doesn't like wet roots. Once we get the bedding up, it's pretty good draining soil, good sandy loam, so we should be okay with that. But I don't want to dam this off right here and have a puddle that stays for days every time it rains. Now, the other side of that is I also don't want my good soil running off into the pond. So the plan is I'll have this all tilled up, and then we'll come in with a cover crop, some sort of either grasses or clovers or something that will take root here and keep this soil in place. Well, let's get this put back on the tractor and let's run a pass with the tiller and see if it is too wet to run this thing today. Okay, the front section by the gate was just a little wet. I think with a good day today, it should dry out. I might be able to get to it this afternoon. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull all of this weed barrier off, get the staples out of it, pull it off to the side a little bit. Then I'll spread some lime. And I think with the weed barrier protecting it, this should be dry enough to get the lime tilled in and get it all broken up. So that's what we're gonna do now. Okay, so that didn't go quite as planned. It's trying to use our residential size broadcast spreader to get this lime out, and it would do fine, but it's a little soft and wet in a couple of places, and these little bitty wheels just dig in. So what I'm gonna do is, like I did on the front, I'm gonna bust open a bag, I'm gonna carry it in one arm, and I'm gonna hand scatter this lime all the way up the hill. Seems to be the easiest way to get this one done. And as I'm doing it, pay attention to all those gopher mounds you see up on the hill. It's just crazy. So let's try it by hand, see what happens. All right, let's see if we can get the tiller to till this lime into the soil, break up the soil, wake up these gophers. I know it's going to be muddy down at the bottom of the hill, so I'm not sure I'll go all the way down, but this top of the hill seems fine. It's good for tilling, and it makes me reconsider whether I'm going to plant my lavender all the way down the hill or stop in a place where I think will dry out good enough. Lavender doesn't like its roots to stay wet. You can get root rot and they die. And once they've got it, it's really hard to bring them back from it. So I may make a mark down there and spread my planting wider instead of all the way down the hill. It's good, something to think about. Gotcha. Ah. Well, I got you, but you're not much. That's okay. Small one. 16.5. Not too bad. Hey, I'm throwing you back. Be easy. Gotcha.